Hello students and welcome back to Sri Gyan Manjari Vidyapeeth, wherein we are learning the subject of social science for standard 10. Students, today we are going to start with a new chapter in social science, chapter number 15. Chapter number 15, 16, 17 and 18, they form part of the economics section of the syllabus. As this is just 10th standard for you, so we will be having an introduction to economics. It won't be that tough, that hard, but the fact remains that economics, we are going to learn the complete basics. So it is a conceptual syllabus that we are having. We have to understand the concept, yes, so that later on when if you do take up economics, that is the economic stream, in 11th and 12th, lots of concepts are quite clear about what you are going to learn. So we are going to learn the basics of economics, and there will be lots of terminology related to economics, and simple a broad layout of what we mean by economics. Yes, how do we classify different concepts and how do we understand it? We'll be understanding it with lots of examples, plus the material is already given to you. We'll be following it quite in that same way, so that it is easier for you to understand. So we start with lecture 1 for chapter number 15. Name of the chapter is economic development. So you are well aware of the word economic. Economic means which is money related. That's a simple fact that we understand, right? Now what do we understand by economic development, because a whole chapter is dedicated to it. So what do we understand by economic development, or what do we mean by economic development, is the first obvious question that we are going to face. So let's learn what is meant by economic development. Now, some introductory sentences are there. In today's modern world, every country is trying to achieve development. Now, this is a fact, right? That each and every country, each and every human being, each and every country, each and every region, in today's world, everyone wants to do the first thing, that is development, right? So each and every country strives to do economic development. It wants to develop financially, right? Financially it wants to become more and more stronger. For n number of reasons, a country has to be financially stable, financially sound, and financially forever developing and continuously growing more and more stronger. When we mean financially stronger, that means the country should be economically, we are not talking about rich or poor, we are talking in terms of the population that the country is having. Because whatever the government earns, it spends on the people. More the people earn, more it gives back to the government. So this cycle should be continuous. There should not be any gap in the cycle, right? Where will the government get the money from? It gets the money from the people. Now if the people are totally uneducated, they are not healthy, they do not show any sign of development in any way, then the government will not have money, because the people are not giving it. So if somewhere the cycle breaks, then the economic development becomes stagnant. Sometimes it even goes in minus, because the government is not able to get money from the people. Now when it gets money from the people, then it can do something for the people, right? So in today's world, each and every country is trying to achieve development in whichever way. We do development. For example, we do development in the field of education. We try to see that each and every citizen of the country is well educated. For that, lots of schools have to be established. Lots of colleges have to be established. Now, to establish schools and colleges, you need lots and lots of money. The government has to buy land or spare land for it. Then comes the construction work. Then comes the starting of the schools and colleges, functioning of the colleges. Lots of things have to be bought for the schools and colleges, and it has to be maintained on a regular basis. That is when the children, they get complete education till the college. Now when they come out of the college, right, they are completely educated and they will get jobs in various fields. They will earn, and when they start earning, they will give it back to the government in forms of taxes, various taxes that we pay. In this way, whatever the money government has invested starts coming back. Right? So that is development. You do one type of development, rest of the development is dependent on that. So whichever development you do, each and every country is trying to do or achieve development. But development is not confined to economic development only. We are usually talking about economic development. We always think in the terms of monetary or money related, right? So each and every development is not economic development. Yes? How is that so? Development is not confined. Confined means restricted to economic development only. Yes, for example, the standard of living that we have, the tastes that we have, right? To satisfy day-to-day need, we need lots of things. For that, we have to do some job or we have to do some business in order to earn money. But everything cannot be bought with money. Happiness cannot be bought with money. Satisfaction cannot be bought with money. So we cannot think everything in terms of money. Same way, as far as development is concerned, everything cannot depend on economic development only. It is a process of social change having many phases. Economic development, this is a very good sentence written over here, that it is a process of social change having many phases. For example, if we take the example of our country, the situation, the financial situation in which we were when we got independence, 1947. Let us take 50 years before that. The British government, which was ruling India, earlier East India Company was ruling, they saw to it that India is completely ruined. They did not, we have learned that in standard 8, 9, that they imposed various laws, various rules, and they framed the laws and rules in such a way that we were not able to make progress. Because if we made progress, because India was a huge market for them, they took the raw materials from here, took it to England, made finished products. Again, they came to sell in India because India was a huge market, and this is how they profited from us. Now what happens if they allowed all the industries, business to continue on a regular basis over here, allow them to develop? What will happen? Nobody is going to buy their products. So they saw to it in a very institutional way. They made some rules and regulations in such a way it hampered our progress. It did not allow us to develop. So the condition in which we got independence, we did not have quite a large number of industries where people can be employed, where production can be done. We were in shortage of food grains. We were in shortage actually of each and everything. Right? We didn't have enough number of schools, colleges, hospitals, basic amenities. People were lacking. So we were quite backward at the time when we got independence. From there, if you see today, that is development, economic development. The people of India, they have achieved economic development. But what is economic development? Along with that, it is a process of social change. The way people lived earlier and the way people live today, lots of changes are there today because of economic development. So because of economic development, lots of things in the society change. The way people live, the standard of living has come up since 1947 to 2021. The standard of living of people have come up. Now people want good homes to live in. Now people want all the luxurious items to live in. Yes, even even the poor people, they try to make more money so that their life can become easier. They also want to send their children to school, and the government also, after all these years, it has enough money that it can open up government schools and give free education to children, so that the parents, the poor parents who cannot pay the school fees, they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about the books. So the standard of living has improved. Earlier in 1947 also, schools were there, government schools were there, private schools were there, but people had to pay for education and they were not able to pay, so lots of children remain without education. Now the scene has changed. Whether you want or not, you have to put your child in the school. Why? The government has made certain rules. Yes, RTE, right to education. Why? So that people can upgrade their standard of living. If the children are educated today, tomorrow they will become educated youth, and they will help in more progress of the society. More, they can develop themselves more. So it is a process of social change that happens, having many faces, multiple faces. Yes, because people have their own choices, people have their own fields to work in, people have their own liking. Yes, yeah, when when they pass out 10th, when they pass out 12th, they take up different streams. Somebody goes for medical, somebody goes for engineering, somebody takes up ITI, somebody takes up ITI. They have their own choices, right? And they develop in different fields. Somebody is interested in electronics, somebody is interested in mechanization, right? So in this way, people choose different streams, different fields, and they complete their education in it, and they get jobs or they start some business in it, and they develop. So it is not confined to economic development. When we have economic development, there is some social change also. So it's a process of social change having many phases. It's a fact, it's a basic truth that you can do whatever you want when you have enough amount of money with you, right? Otherwise you can just dream. Yes, you can keep on dreaming. There's no harm in it. But then, if you really want to do something, you got to have some money with you. And then only you can satisfy whatever dreams you have. So, it has multiple phases, and slowly, you can see that change in the society. Economic development shows constant increase in national income of a country. It is also true that people work more and more money keeps on adding in the country, right? Because people work, right? We buy some things from outside, that is import. We make some things and we export. Money transaction happens even in the country. Lots of production is there, lots of people are involved in that production. People buy that product and they pay for it. So money keeps on changing hands, and economic development shows constant increase, right? There is never a reduction, there is always an increase, and that's a very good sign. And put together, it becomes national income. Yes, now a person, a labor who works for 100 rupees a day, yes, he is earning, but at the end of the day he is spending. Wherever he is spending, that means whatever is produced is being sold. So money changes hand and it adds to income. Yes, the person got 100 rupees because of his hard work, and he expended some on buying something. There are some people who have produced that thing, right? They get back their money, they produce more. So in that way, it keeps on adding to the national income of a country. Now, what economic development means? First, constant. In short, we want to know what is economic development. Then 2 points are included in it. First thing is, it should show constant increase in national income of a country. Now, what is national income? What is national income? All the citizens put together, whatever their earnings are, in a very simple layman's language, you will understand what is national income. Each and every citizen, adult citizen, he earns money. whoever is working, and for whatever work he does, he charges some money, or for his services he is paid some money, he is earning, and that is added to the national income. So all the citizens of the country who work and get paid, or who do business and take profit, right, all of that put together, that is national income. So constant increase in national income should be seen. What is the next point? Increase in per capita income of a country. Yes. Now what is per capita income? Per capita, per head income, right? Put it in a simple layman's language. Per capita income means per head income. Yes. Now because of this situation, we know what is the total population of India. Everywhere in the newspaper, news channel, we come to learn that India has a population of 137 crore. Now out of that, lots of people are, a very huge part of the population is belonging to certain age groups. For example, 0, that means a baby who is born today, this is the first day, so 0 to 80, 90, 100. So we have quite a broad range of, if we put all the population in age groups, right? So generally speaking, 0 to 15, they are called dependent. So out of that, say 0 to 15 years of age, children are dependent. Then again 60 and above, 60 to above, whatever, right, you can say 80, 90, 100, they are also dependent, because then they are physically and mentally quite old, and they are not able to work. That is what to say. Yes, physically people grow old, and then they start losing the capacity to continue working with that same vigor, right? So what is the working age group? 16 to 59, 60, we can say that is the working age group. These people are working, right? They earn money, right? So all that money put together, that is called national income. So what is how can we know what per head is the income of India? Yes. So the national income, you divide it by the total population of the country. National income, you divide it by the total population of the country. What you get is per capita income. Per capita income. It doesn't happen in a family. Yes, father has an income of 1 lakh rupee per month. You cannot say, suppose the family is of 4 people, mother, father, brother and a sister, right? Boy and a girl, 4 people. So you cannot divide. We can say like that, yes, and you also cannot say it like that. Yes, हर महीने पापा को नहीं बोल सकते. Yes, that this is the family income, your income divided by 4. हर महीने हर एक को 25-25 हजार distribute कर देना ना. You cannot say that, right? It doesn't happen that way, and don't even try it, right? But what is the income of the family? It is never the income of an individual. Yes. It is never the income of the individual when we are living in the family. We always say that family earns good. Yes, what is the family income? Right? Because somewhere the father alone is working, somewhere the father and the mother, both of them are working. At the end, what do we say? What is the income of the family? That is the meaning. Yes, we don't divide it. Yes, we don't do it. Right? But here we want to know per capita income, per citizen, per head, what is the income? This is the formula for that. How do we derive, how do we come to per capita income? It is the national income divided by population that gives you the per capita income. So more the national earning, more the national income, more the per capita income. Yes, and per capita income, increase in per capita income of the country. When can that happen? When we have constant increase in national income, which was the first point. What was the first point? Constant increase in national income. Now when there is constant increase in national income, then per capita income will also increase because the national income has increased. Increase in per capita income of the country. The third point which shows economic development is change in lifestyle of the people or change in living standard of the people. Earlier people lived in huts. When economic development was happening, they started earning, and today after say 10-20 years they have enough money to buy a small house. They have left the hut and they have come in a house. That is a jump in the standard of living. Mother and father never had a chance to go to the school, but now they are sending their children, and their children are sending their children to school. That is upgradation in standard of living. Earlier the family was not able to provide themselves with 2 square meals per day. Square meals means पेट भर के खाना, एक दिन में 2 टाइम पेट भर के खाना मिलना चाहिए. That is called 1 square meal. So 2 times you get belly full, or you satisfy your hunger completely. That is called 1 square meal. So families were not able to provide 2 square meals for themselves. Today we can see that scenario has changed. People have enough opportunity of getting some employment where they can earn and get at least 100-200 rupees per day, and they can provide their family with enough food. That means there is an upgradation in standard of living. Then there you can see some change. Yes, now people are more healthier. How did that happen? Because lots of research has been done in medicine, medicinal equipment. Lots of medical colleges have been set up where the students get admission to medical colleges and come out as doctors and serve the country. There are more doctors now today compared to the earlier time. That is a change in the society that has happened. People's standard of living has increased because now they have more money in their hand and they can satisfy their desires, they can satisfy their wishes. Their purchasing power has increased. So you can see a smile on those faces earlier when they had to think about what they are going to eat in the evening, what they are going to eat the next day. Yes, they had been wearing torn clothes for a number of days, right? Today they get clothes at quite cheap rate, which they can provide themselves with food, clothing and shelter, plus added facilities, that is the basic requirements which have been added now along with food, clothing and shelter. That was earlier. Now today 5 basic amenities the people should get. That is not only food, clothing and shelter, medicine and that is health and education. That is also added now in the basic requirements of human beings. Earlier there were 3, nowadays that. So you see a change in that. So change in lifestyle of the people, or you see change in the living standard of the people. So these are the 3 main important ways to see whether economic development has been happening in a country or not. Now how can that happen? When you compare with the past and today, then you can see economic development has happened. You see any country which there has been no change in the past 10 years or 20 years, then economic development has not happened. Many of the African countries today also, right, they are still living in the tribal form. There is no education over there, there are no health facilities, there is no basic infrastructural facilities over here. Yes, what are basic infrastructural facilities? Roads are not there, electricity is not there, piped drinking water is not there. Yes, basic amenities like schools, colleges, they are absent over there. right? Or in very less number. Education has still not reached over there. So you see no change in the last 20 years. From last 20 years, whatever they are even there today at the same spot. So economic development has not happened. What do we need for economic development? We need these three things. First is constant increase in national income of a country. That also increases the per capita income of the country, and there is a change, you can see a change in the lifestyle of the people. Then you can say that economic development is happening in that country. Next, how do we know economic development is happening? For that we need some standardization. What do we understand by standardization? We put some parameters. Yes, simple. We put some parameters. Yes, how do we say that a family is rich or poor? We set some parameters to check. Yes, we make a checklist. Yes, house है, हाउस है नहीं है, फिक्स्ड इनकम है फिक्स्ड इनकम नहीं है, एजुकेशन है यहां पे होगा शायद, राइट? सो डू दे हैव अ कार? है नहीं है, मोटरसाइकिल है नहीं है, साइकिल है होगी शायद. 1 2 3 4 5, all the check boxes are checked. Here only 2 check boxes are checked. So we see that one family has everything, other family does not have everything that is basically required for a good quality living, right? So we make a checklist, right? So we need to compare. We need to compare and contrast what somebody has, what somebody does not have. So these are the parameters that we checked: house, car, etc., education, fixed income. These are all the parameters on which we checked whether one family can survive in a very good way, another family cannot sustain or survive in a very good way, right? So these are the parameters. So that are the parameters that we are talking about, indicators of economic development. Yes, those indicators, parameters, we take it as indicators. Economic development included these 3 indicators. What are these 3 indicators which show us that a country has economic development, or has a lot good economic development, or is still developing? National income. Now what is there? So these are the 3 parameters that we talked about, right? So national income, we already discussed about this. This is the formula. What is national income? It is the total income of the country, that is called national income. What is the meaning? This is the definition of national income. What is national income? Total income of the country. Whether a farmer is earning say 1 lakh rupee per year, yes, that is his income. A businessman is earning 1 lakh rupee per year, that is his income. Yes, and a family is doing some job service and earning 1 lakh rupee per year. That put all of the income together, total income of the country, that is called national income. Per capita income, this is the definition for per capita income. By dividing the total income of the country with the total population of the country, what we obtain result is per capita income, that we have already discussed about. Yes, total income of the country, total income divided by total population, that is called per capita income. From now on we will call it PCI. Yes, we will have reference of PCI in chapter 15, 16, 17, 18, everywhere we will have the word PCI written in bold. and capital, right? PCI means per capita income, right? And we already know how we derive PCI or per capita income. Total income of the country divided by total population of the country, we come to PCI, and that will always be number because these two are numbers. Income is in number, population is in number. So you can come to PCI, that will be a number and it will be money. Now what is standard of living? These are the indicators, right? We already learnt about it. These are the three indicators on which we can come to know what is the status of economic development of any country. You see its national income, you compare it with previous year or 10 years back or 20 years back. 20 years back the total income of national income of the country was this, today it is this. Yes, if it does not show much difference, then economic development has not happened. If it shows a stark difference, more today, less previous, then we can say economic development has happened. Of course, along with that, population rise is also happening. So every year we can count the total income of the country, we divide it by the total population of that country, and what we derive is PCI. So every year we will be having PCI also, per capita income also. By looking at the numbers of PCI 10 years back, 20 years back and today, we can know whether the country has developed or whether the development has remained stagnant. That means not much even in 20 years. Yes, so these are the indicators, these are the criteria for which we come to know whether a country is developing or not. So per capita income, by dividing the total income of the country with the total population of the country, we obtain per capita income. The third indicator is standard of living. Now what do we understand by standard of living? Living standard includes lots and lots of things, right? Facilities like obtaining nutritious food, clothes, education, health services, transportation services, as well as shelter. These things are included in standard of living. If we see the present scenario of COVID, then we can say that, for example, if we take the developed countries like USA, UK, France, Germany, etc., people lost employment because they are not able to go to their work areas. They were not able to go to work because the complete country had come to a shutdown because of the pandemic, right? The factories are not open, they are shut down, so people cannot go to the factories, they cannot work because of the pandemic situation. But they were given regular stipend by the country when they become unemployed. That means when the country has enough money that they can pay stipend to unemployed people, that means they are quite developed. That means the government has that much money to give it to its people, right? That is the scenario of those countries. Now there are lots of other countries where the governments do not have that much money that they can give it to their people. If we come to India, you can see automatically when there was complete shutdown, the government took enough care. Each and every state government took enough care to see that nobody remains hungry, even if they have money or they do not have money. If they have money, the grocery shops are open, vegetables are available, they can cook food and they can eat. But what about those people, those who don't have money? Where will they go? What will they eat? So the government went to their homes and gave them ration so that they can cook food and they can survive. That means the government has enough money. That shows development. If we go to 1947, the government did not have money to give free food to people. After 50, 60, 70 years, we have developed enough, right? So that is standard of living. That it shows that standard of living of India has improved a lot, because government can give facilities like obtaining nutritious food. We will be learning in the later chapters also that the government has set up the public distribution system, that is PDS system, and under that FPS, that is fair price shop, which we call ration store, where a poor person has been given the ration card, APL, BPL, right below poverty line. He is poor, he cannot buy food, nutritious food at current market rates. He can go over there and buy wheat at rupees 2 per kg. He does not have to worry about food, because he gets wheat at 2 rupees per kg, rice at 3 rupees per kg. He does not have to worry about nutritious food. He can give enough nutritious food to his family. Yes, obtaining nutritious food. He doesn't have to run here and there, earn money so that he can buy it at market rate. He cannot buy because he is poor. So the government has extended that facility so that each and every citizen of the country can have nutritious food. So living standard includes lots of things like nutritious food, enough amount of food for each and every person to have. Clothes, they earn that much that they can buy their own clothes. Education, yes, whether they can afford it or not, the government is there to give free education to their children. So that is included in standard of living. Same way, health services in each and every city, according to the rules and regulations of the country, each and every city, town should have one civil hospital. Civil hospital, everything is taken care about the health facilities by the government. Each and every village also has a health care clinic, a small one, right, where regularly a doctor comes and a nursing assistant comes, and the medicines are, the checkup is done for free. The medicines are given at quite negligible rate, which the poor people in the rural area can afford. Right? So the government has reached even the most remote part and the each and every citizen in the country to see that proper health services are extended to all, whether they can afford it or not. Yes, if you go to government hospitals, yes, checkup is done at 10 rupees and maximum they have to pay 10-15 rupees for getting the medicines, right? So in this way, X-ray, everything is available to them free of cost, right? So health facilities, health services are given at quite negligible rate. So that is the improvement in standard of living. Next, transportation. ST buses, yes, they take people from one place to another at quite reduced rate, and good roads are available. Yes, and trains also, they are not that much costly, right? So we can see that transportation, people do not have to spend too much, yes, or wait for too long for getting transported from one place to another. These are all called the basic facilities, and it comes along with the basic infrastructural facilities. So if we see a change in that, that means standard of living of the people have improved. So these are the indicators. And what does this indicator include? Lots and lots of things. Yes, apart from this, we have lots of other things. Yes, for example, as well as shelter. Yes, for example, lots of shelter facilities are given to the people, poor people who cannot afford their own houses, at a very subsidized rate. Nowadays, shelter is available to yes, so Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, right? All this allows even the poor people to own a house of their own and improve their standard of living rather than living in slum areas or in some huts. Yes, people can afford. Why? Because the government is allowing them subsidies, the government is giving them the facility to own their own house, right? So in this way, the standard of living, these are the indicators. These three are the indicators which we apply to each and every country to see whether economic development is happening or not. What is the first one? National income. What is the second one? PCI, per capita income. And what is the third thing? Standard of living. We apply these three indicators to each and every country, we can come to know whether economic development is really happening or not. Economic development is taking place in India. We got to prove it. we have to show that economic development is happening. In this lecture, I think we have shown in enough ways how economic development is seen in India and it is happening in India. Right, from we learned about from 1947, even before that, and today 2021. Economic development is seen. What is the reason for it, or how do we prove it? There has been constant increase in national income. First, we have to come up with facts and figures. Yes, you take the national income of 1947, then you take national income of 1950, then you can take 10 years, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010, 2015, 20. You can see constant increase in national income. So, economic development is happening. Population is also rising, but at the same time national income is increasing. So, per capita income is also increasing. Per capita income there has been constant increase in that, which proves that economic development is happening in India. Next, so two things are covered. First thing is national income will increase, then only per capita income will increase. So we have seen lots of change in that, and always on the positive side, always showing on the increase side. So those two indicators prove that economic development is happening. Now we come to the third indicator, that is the upgradation of standard of living. Let us see that. There has been improvement in services and facilities such as availability of food grains. Yes, we will learn it in the some of the succeeding chapters also, that when we got independence in 1947, we did not have self-sufficiency in terms of grains. The population of that time and the production of grains at that time, there was a huge difference between that. Population was more, production of grains was less. That means we were not able to feed our own population. That means we had to depend on other countries which would give us wheat, rice, etc., so that we can feed our population. We see a drastic change in that. The government has done lots of things to make us self-sufficient. Yes, from where we had deficiency of food grains, after Green Revolution, we made it equal. Yes, we were able to satisfy the demand for food grains that arose in India. We were able to satisfy. That means production became equal to demand. So now we did not have to import it from outside. We produced enough that satisfied the demand of the population. After that, we produced more than the demand, which we kept as reserved stock, right? For example, some unforeseen situation like flood, earthquake, some natural calamity happens like this pandemic, etc. We have something to give to the people. Then we produced even more. We started keeping buffer stock, right? So in this way, have seen improvement in services and facilities such as availability of food grains. Next is drinking water. Yes, we constructed so many dams after independence that increased the storage capacity of the country, and we made lots of canals, etc., which spread that water to different areas of the country, made a grid out of it, and this is how we increase the capacity of giving pure drinking safe and pure drinking water to people. So that facility also improved. Transport and communication facility, we know very well. Transport and communication facility we increased with the help of laying down more number of railway tracks, extending the roads, making pakka roads, so that transportation happens quick and faster, and efficiency has also increased. In terms of communication also we increased a lot, and today we have enough good speedy transportation and communication facilities. Housing, we improved the housing infrastructure, where the government built low cost house, so that the people can afford it and they can own a house of their own. Yes, so housing facility has increased. Sanitation, we have seen into that people do not get sick because of lack of hygiene and sanitation. So the municipal corporation, etc., or at even the town level, the municipality, they take even care, they take good care that proper departments are there which looks after the gutter system, which looks after the pure and safe drinking water, good roads are there, right? All these facilities are given by the municipality or municipal corporation. Yes, if we go to the mega cities, they have Mahanagar Nigam over there, right? So in this way we have seen that sanitation is maintained, so that if sanitation and hygiene is maintained, less number of people will become sick, and that means there will be less rush in the health sector, and we can improve the health of the by just keeping the sanitation. Next, after making so many dams, we started generating electricity out of that. Yes, we increased the capacity for the production of coal. Yes, mining the coal, and we may generated electricity out of that also. We increased our power in the nuclear sector, and we started producing electricity out of the nuclear energy. So we produce lots of electricity, and lots of distribution of electricity ensures that we have a continuous development, right? Education, we set up lots of schools, colleges, etc., and increase the ways and methods where people can get proper education and they can themselves find their employment. So health and services, that we have already discussed, shelter, etc. So all these indicators, this particular indicator, that is about the standard upgradation of standard of living, we can see a sea change, a huge change from 1947 to 2021, which proves that economic development is happening in India. The above mentioned requirements are fulfilled easily in a more better way. They are fulfilled, okay, in earlier times also they were fulfilled, yes, but with lots of difficulties. Now they are fulfilled very easily and in a more better way as compared to the past. So we can say that economic development is taking place in India. Just for your knowledge, this is like to know national income of India. Some figures are given. We don't need to remember that. This is just for your knowledge. Nobody is going to ask you a question, what was, say, 2011-12, what was the national income of India? Nobody is going to ask you that. But this is for our knowledge. We should know what was the national income of India previously and what is it according to the latest figure given by the textbook. So national income, that is GDP. Now we have another word over here. National income, we can also be called GDP. Yes, what is GDP? GDP means gross domestic produce. Product is कुछ भी बोलो, same. What is GDP? Gross domestic produce. Yes, that is called GDP, which is equivalent to national income. GNI, gross national income, you say GNI, you say GDP, you say national income, all comes to the same thing. National income, that is the GDP of, what was the GDP of India? Then national income is GDP of India, which was 87,36,039 crores. That was the national income or the GDP in 2011-12. This is to prove that economic development is happening. Yes, what is the first indicator? There should be constant increase in national income. Then only there will be constant increase in per capita income. If there is per capita income more, then only people will have more money to spend, and then only they will be able to up their living standard. So from 87,36,039 crores in 2011-12, the official figure given by the book in 2015-16, that went up to 1,35,67,192 crore. That means after this figure you have to add 7 zeros. That was the national income of India. Yes, it's not quite huge. Yes, but comparatively quite huge. Yes, so we can see from 87 lakhs 36,039 it shot up in just a matter of 4 5 years. It shot up to this much, that is 1 lakh 1 crore 35 lakh 67,100, and that is a huge gap between that. Yes, almost you can see some 38 to 39 lakh crore more, right? So that is quite a huge jump, and looking at these figures we can come to know that economic development is happening in India. We come to an end to today's lecture. Thank you, students.